Hey guys, let's get straight to the point. Yes, I used the GR3 to take some portrait photos with my friends last week and it was amazing. Now I'm going to show you guys the recipe that I came up with for this portrait session that really helps me to get amazing JPEG straight out of the GR3 when it comes to portrait photos. The main focus of this recipe is on the skin tone colors. I am always trying to have the nicest skin tone on my subject when I'm doing portrait photos, so that is the subject, the focus of this recipe. So let's take a look. In the GR3, I have the portrait recipe set and saved to my U1 user 1 portfolio or the settings. And if I go into the quick menu by pressing onto this dial right here, you see that I am using negative film as the base. And if I go into function, you will see that I have this recipe right here. I have saturation set to +2 and also the hue to -1 because the negative film, it's a little bit desaturated in my opinion, and I want it to be a straight out of the camera JPEG that I can use without editing at all. So I have the saturation set to +2 and the -1 will tone down the magenta hue. So that's why it's at -1 right here. And I have high-low key adjustment, that is the contrast, basically almost the same as contrast, set to -3. And the actual contrast set to +1, so I don't have to add in contrast in post. And I have highlight contrast set to 0. I didn't want to do too much to it. I don't want it to be too contrasty or too little, so that's why I didn't touch it. And then I have the shadow contrast set to -4, so it's not too contrasty when it comes to the darker side of the image and the shadows of the image, so it's all the way to -4. And sharpness to 0 because I think the GR3 with this lens right here is super sharp. It's a good thing, but then when it comes to portrait photos, I don't like the image to be too sharp, and that's why I have it set to 0. I didn't add in any sharpness. If you want to, you can try to add in some sharpness if you want a super sharp image for your portrait photos. And then the next one is really important, which is clarity. Oh no, this is shading. This is basically making the image looking a little bit darker on the corners to add in a little bit of a vignette. I have it set to -2, so the subject in the middle will be a little bit more in focus, and it pops the subject with this little vignetting. The last one is clarity. Again, I want to make it so the subject is not popping out of the background like a cutout, so that's why the lens is super sharp and it's a nice thing, but I have clarity set to -2, so it's a little bit softer on the subject when it comes to sharpness and also the cutout between the in focus and out of focus area, so that's -2. So that's the negative film settings, and I have white balance set to a value as well. So let's tap onto the white balance using the white balance button at the bottom of the dial, and I have it set to auto white balance. This is always my settings when I am doing like casual photo walk. I don't want to set the white balance. If you're doing a professional photo shoot, definitely set a custom white balance, and you can still use the white balance shift that I have here, and I have G2A14. So it's a little bit more towards the orangey side of the spectrum, as you can see here on the graph, G2A14, to make the skin tone look healthier. I don't think you can see anything pretty much here because it doesn't really make sense. I'm going through like 2 cameras right now. But the skin tone on the photo samples that I'm going to show you guys after this is going to show you how I adjust the raw photos using this recipe to make the skin tone look healthy and nice, basically. So G2A14, the white balance shift in auto white balance. And then if you go into menu, we'll go to the camera icon right here. We'll take a look at some more settings. I think it's at the bottom. It's about dynamic range. So here we have, oh, where is it? Oh, right here. Peripheral illumination correction, if I'm correct. It's on. Basically, it gets rid of the vignetting, but I'm adding in using shading. So that one is on anyway. This is the ideal settings I found. And dynamic range correction, everything is off. You can play around with these. I don't think I am too familiar with these settings, but I have them turned off before or during when I was trying to come up with this recipe, so that way I don't rely on these options. But this is the main recipe. You can screenshot it and then copy it. And then the next important thing is, of course, the white balance shift. Auto white balance G2A14. Yeah, that's it. This is the recipe that I was using for the portrait session, and I love the result. I am now going to show you photo samples of the raw image, the images, the JPEG straight out of the camera using this recipe, and also how I use Snapseed preset that I made to edit the photos so they look more film photos like. And yeah, let's jump straight into the photo samples. All right, let's take a look at some photo samples using this portrait recipe I made for the GR3. I will be showing you guys some DNG RAW files and also the JPEGs using this recipe, and I'll show you guys some samples that I use Snapseed to create a preset for this portrait recipe that makes it a little bit more film-like. If you guys like it, let me know in the comment section below and I'll share the recipe in the next video. So this is the set of photos that I took with my friends using a GR3 on the day of a photo walk. I also used the Fujifilm X Pro 2, and they look different, of course, because of the focal length, but here we go. Let's take a look at the first photo. This one is a raw photo of the GR3 taking a picture of my friend using auto white balance. You can kind of tell that the colors are kind of off whenever you look at a raw photo. And this is the photo using the recipe. This is the JPEG. I'll go back to the raw photo and the one with recipe. I will probably show you guys side by side on the screen on YouTube, and I'll show you guys the next photo, which is the one using the Snapseed preset that I made. As I said before, I'm not here to sell you guys presets, so feel free to let me know if you guys want to know how to edit this photo using Snapseed to turn it into the photos that I'm going to show you, and I'll just make another video about it. This is the photo using the Snapseed preset. I've been using the GR3 and the Snapseed app on my iPhone to create this kind of film kind of like photo. Correct me if I'm wrong, I've not really like taken like too many film photos before, but this is how I feel like a film photo should look like, so this is how I made them look in Snapseed. The next photo is another raw photo. You can see that it's really pale, a little bit greenish compared to the preset that I'm about to show you guys. This is the one with the preset. You can tell that the tone, it's a lot warmer and it's actually softer than the raw photo because I kind of like the softness of the picture instead of having like everything super sharp. The GR3 is a great camera, amazing lens, super sharp image. Sometimes it's too sharp for especially portrait photos, so that's why I lower the clarity and the not the sharpness, but the clarity mainly to make it a little bit softer so it doesn't look like the subject is like popping out of the background. That's how I keep it a little bit nicer for portrait photos. Also, for portrait photos, you don't want to show all the details of the subject's like face and everything, all the tiny little things. So we try to make it not as detailed, if that makes sense. That's why some people even put filters in front of their lenses, but I did not. This is straight out of the GR3 using the portrait recipe. This is how I edited using the Snapseed app with the same preset. Basically, if you have the recipe set up on your camera, you don't really have to do much unless there's like an exposure kind of adjustment. So if it's too dark, make it brighter. If it's too bright, make it darker. Once you're in the ballpark of the right exposure, you just put on that preset and you're good to go. So let me know if you want to know how to make that preset. This is another raw photo. As you can see, the colors are kind of funky. I'm not gonna lie, I personally don't think I can be better than the camera companies to come up with the colors in their film simulation, especially Fuji and GR, or Ricoh, not GR. But then some people, they enjoy editing raw photos. I tried editing raw photos. It worked out fine, but then I still think the in-camera recipes or preset or film simulations are nicer when it comes to color rendition and color like that are pleasing to our eyes. So that's why I usually keep it as an in-camera thing. I try to get the look as much as possible in cameras. That's almost all the time. This is with the preset. You can see that the skin tone is really rich, and also the darker area of the image, let's say the brick, it's warmer, and then the window frame, it's a lot cooler. So that way you're splitting the tone between the subject skin tone and also the background, which is really, really nice. And this is with the Snapseed preset. I'm just gonna keep doing this. So if you want to like go back and check out the recipe, you're more than welcome to do so. Do some testing on your own. If not, then I'll keep showing you guys pictures, because it was a really fun photo walk in Yaletown, Vancouver. If you are from Vancouver, definitely go check it out. If not, if you're visiting Vancouver, go to Yaletown in downtown area, and you will have a lot of nice restaurants and background to take photos at. This is a raw photo. This is with the recipe. You can see that the skin tone is a lot healthier this way, and the contrast is much nicer, and the sign, it's not as blown out, if you can tell, the Yaletown sign. So the highlights are a lot toned down, protected, not as bright, and this is with the Snapseed preset. Same location, different person. You can see that the skin tone is much, much, much healthier. This is mainly my focus when it comes to color grading or editing photos or color grading videos, that I want to make sure that the subject's skin tone is nice and healthy and it's natural if you're going with a natural look. But if it's creative look, of course you can add in like different colors in the skin tone. But then if it's going for the natural tone, then I will make sure that the skin is nice and healthy before anything else, because that's the main focus. Like background, the steel, if you want to add in like a cooler tone, that's after. But then skin tone, my main focus. This is with the preset in Snapseed. Same thing with the preset. You can tell that the subject pops. Not in a super sharp, over sharpened kind of popping way. This is a raw photo. The Ricoh GRIII lens, again, super sharp, but I don't like having a subject cut out from the background kind of sharpness. So I tone it down and I can pop the subject with contrast and color contrast. So that's how I came up with the recipe. In GR3, I showed you guys in my previous video, same thing with the Fujifilm camera. You can actually apply the recipe after you taken the picture. So you don't have to really do anything. If you have photos in your camera already, then you can play around with this recipe. This is with the Snapseed preset. Even with a group photo like this, the GR3 28mm full frame equivalent lens, absolutely not gonna give you like a 3D pop or like blurry background, especially if you're this far away from the subject. So don't expect that, but you can still use contrast, lighting, color contrast, foreground elements, a lot of different things like framing, composition to pop the subjects out. So this is with the recipe. You can see that everything is focused on the subject now. So the people in the middle, you can tell that this is a raw photo, this is with the recipe. Everything looks super nice already. I'm so happy with this recipe. If I come up with a different recipe in the future for portrait, or like a nicer or different one, I should say, I'll definitely update you guys with another video. But so far, as of right now, this is my favorite recipe. I can use this for almost anything. And this is with the Snapseed preset. Another one. In this photo, you can tell that I was using the foreground element. I will probably make another video talking about this, how to do a better composition or like arrangement of the photo so you have a more focused and interesting kind of composition using even a wide lens like a 28mm on the GR3. A lot of people say that this lens and camera combo f2.8 28mm not for portrait, but I kind of think it's okay to do like portrait photos. I love these photos. So that's my thoughts after using this for a photo session. I really, really like this combination. You can tell that using the recipe, everything is so different. The subjects are popping really nicely. It was an overcast day, so the lighting is really soft. But even if it's a sunny day, I don't think the contrast is gonna ruin the recipe that much. I'm gonna do some testing again. Vancouver now, November, it rains every day almost. So I'll do some testing on a sunny day next time and update you guys. This is with the preset in Snapseed. And we ran into this really, really cute dog in Yaletown. If you're in downtown Vancouver, if you've been to downtown Vancouver, you know that a lot of people walk their dogs. And this little puppy was so cute, and I took a picture. This is a good thing about having such a small camera. I'm gonna make another video about the GR3, my thoughts on the camera, but I love having this tiny camera. I can just like turn on, do a snap photo, and that's it. You can totally tell that this is a really nice photo, super in the moment kind of photo, back candid, back in this, like behind the scene, not back in the scene, behind the scenes kind of photos. This is with the preset, not the preset, sorry. This is with the recipe in the GR3. This is with the preset. This is another really, really nice photo that I took that I really, really like. Because of the motion, the action, and the angle, I really like it. I did not expect it to be this interesting, and I like it a lot. If you have any comments on the photos, let me know down in the comment section below as well. I'm always willing to learn from you guys. This photo is super fun. I just turned on the burst mode on the GR3. It does not allow me to choose how many frames per second, so I had no idea how many frames per second it was like taking the photos with, but it was pretty quick. I think like maybe like 5 or 6 photos, correct me if I'm wrong. But my friend was doing a jump, and then I was just holding on to the shutter button. I pre-focused on her first, and then she did the jump. So some part of the image is not as sharp, probably because of the shutter speed, but I was on aperture priority, so shutter speed was auto. But there's some motion blur and also some out of focus area, but herself, like mainly, it's in focus. Maybe her arm was a little bit closer to the lens, that's why it's kind of blurry, but you can still see that the subject is popping out of the background. And for some reason, I happened to match her jeans with the blue building, and then like the brown building kind of matching her top, and then the shoes kind of matching this like beige color building here. That was accident, like, but it was really nice. I really like it. And this is with the preset. You can tell that everything pops up like so nicely. This is a raw photo. Of course, raw photos, no one really use it anyway, so maybe you can get a better result editing the photo, editing the raw photo, but then this is in camera. I love it. So I don't need to do almost anything. And then I just put on the Snapseed preset, and that's it. And then this is another one, like we have another attempt with my other friend, and she was a little bit closer. As you can see that the leg is closer to the lens, to the camera, so that's why it was kind of blurry. And also the motion blur, as I said, maybe I should set it up to a higher shutter speed, but anyway, that's why it's fun using the GR3. You can just play around with it, experience, like experiment different thing with it, and it doesn't cost you anything almost. Like you have the camera already, so why not, right? This is with the preset, not the preset, recipe. This is with the preset. So we found another location where we have some like bars at the front, and I was trying to use it as a foreground element and also as a frame, the sky and the buildings to frame her face. It was pretty nice. I'm not super good at this kind of composition yet, but I'm getting a little bit better because of the GR3. I've been taking photos with it like every day. You can see that I was using even her fingers as the foreground element to make it more interesting. You do get some bokeh, if you will. Not much, but you can do it. Foreground element is a lot easier to be blurred out compared to background elements. I don't know if it's like a lens design or anything like that. I'm not an expert on that, but then I figured that using foreground elements really helps making the image more like three-dimensional and also having something in the picture that is blurry if you're into that kind of things. By the way, all the photos were taken using aperture priority mode, and the aperture was set to f2.8. I did not touch the aperture. I'm not a guy who is gonna go like 5.6, f8. I don't even do that for street photos. Maybe one day I'll start doing that, but then for now, f2.8 most of the time. So I can get a little bit of like a blurry element. And this is with the preset. You can see that the skin tone, it's a lot nicer. This one, raw image, again, I'm not gonna comment on that too much. It's capturing the most information onto the image, so that's probably why the colors are not to my liking. But this is much nicer. This is just a JPEG straight out of the camera. I can definitely just use this image. And this is with the preset on Snapseed. Same thing, same photo, well, not same photo, same location, different pose, same thing, fingers using them as foreground elements. And I think this is with the preset. And the last one, horizontal landscape kind of situation right here. You can tell that the background can get blurry if you get close to the subject. I would say like, you can see in the photo that like if you were doing like a half body photo, then you can definitely get close enough to blur out the background. So I will probably make another video about how to use the GR3 for portrait photos, so I can show you guys more tips and tricks here and there, so you guys can try to use it for portrait photos. This is with the recipe. Super nice. Nice skin tone, my main focus. That's pretty much it. And this is with the Snapseed preset. And those are the photo samples I want to show you guys. We did not spend too much time using the GR3 to take the photos because my main focus was using the Fujifilm X-Pro 2 and the 56mm f1.2 lens to do some portfolio photos for my friends. So we did not spend too much time, and it was like starting to rain. So the GR3 not weather seal, so I didn't want to ruin the camera. So we didn't take too many photos with the GR3, but those are some of my favorite photos using the GR3. I was so shocked that I was able to do portrait photos that I really enjoy, and like using a pocket-sized camera with a fixed lens, a wide-angle fixed lens to take these photos. I love them. So these are amazing. At least I like them. If you guys have any comments or questions on the photos, compositions, the recipe, the preset, if you guys want to know how to use that or set up that preset on Snapseed, let me know down in the comment section below. I'm always willing to learn from you guys, and I really appreciate your comments and suggestions. Share to us or share with us your favorite recipe for different things like street photos or even like portrait photos. Maybe you have been using your GR3, GR2, GR1 for portrait photos that you want to share your recipe with us. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this kind of video. If you like it, I'll do more content with the GR3 because I just started using it recently, and I will make more video about this camera and all the recipe that I come up with. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.